I think there it is. Boom.
There it
Boop.
is. Boom.
Which way? That
I'm
way.
Steve Metrics, and there's your boy.
DJ Triggs slightly in like 720p or something. I don't know what I'm in.
Yeah, something like that. That's debate, but together, that's no debate. And we're here on a Monday night, coming off of the wrapping up of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. And yeah, I mean, I kind of had a feeling Indiana would do something. Would they go the whole way, all the way to the NBA Finals? I don't know. I mean, I kind of felt at the end of last season that they would probably end as like one of the final four teams this season. And they went the distance. They got a nice mix of players. They got speed. They got good coaching. They're there.
Man, I think that's all the things you need to be an NBA champ. Uh,
Yep.
it sounds crazy, but they got put out early, or they got put out early a couple of years ago. Then last year they get right there, and everyone's like, "Yeah, but you're expected to lose." And now they're right there again.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, Pascal Siakam pickup was actually really solid. He gels real nicely with how Rick Carlisle calls the game. It works.
Yeah, and it's strange. It's one of those like, "Oh yeah, that guy's an all-star." Huh.
Absolutely.
Like, and you don't remember things like that. And I
Yeah.
love that he just did a what do you call it? An interview the other day. No, it was a press conference, and he's just like, "Yeah, what was the reporter? The reporter said something to him to the effect of like, "Oh, you're the Eastern Conference Finals MVP." He's like, "Oh, okay." like it was like one of those things like he's like, "Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Cool." Um
Yeah.
yeah, I just work really hard and go play basketball, and I don't pay attention to that stuff. And it was so genuine where like, you get some like star players that say, "Yeah, we don't pay attention to that. We're here to win this and that." Like,
Yeah.
and you just kind of like, "Oh, they're coach speaking us." This guy was genuinely like, "Oh, yeah, I just play basketball."
Totally. Totally. Yeah. I mean, I know some people are a little bit at odds that it probably should have been to Halliburton, and legitimately so. But Siakam's a solid two-way player, and he brings it on that defense, man. Like he's got kind of that Ben Wallace ishness about how he plays defense, how he blocks shots. He's a solid two-way player.
Right. And I mean, he does like a little bit everything. He's one of those.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, he's pretty solid. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of plays well with the whole chemistry of the team. I mean, Miles Turner is solid. You got Halliburton doing his thing. Um, they're a team that I thought could come back. I mean, I kind of thought it would either be them, Cleveland, Boston, or New York. I'm not sure if that's exactly how that Final Four shook up, but that was kind of what my gut was leading into following last season. And I know all four of those teams definitely were in the playoffs. So kind of shook out the way it did, where it's going a little bit younger and it's going faster in pace of play. But I know the Knicks aren't too much on that pace of play. But I mean, the Knicks do have solid coaching, and they had a solid team last year, made a few moves as well. So it is what it is. I mean, will the Knicks maybe be back next year? Maybe, maybe not. But I kind of had a good feeling of how things were going to play into this season based off of how things were really kind of a changing of the guard last season. And even to a degree, too, we're kind of getting that out west as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing though. Like, I'm not sure if it's a changing of the guard or if it was like convenient, but every single season is starting to end up that way
Yes.
where like a bunch of star players are getting hurt in the middle of the playoffs, and
Yeah.
then you don't really have the playoffs anymore. You just kind of have what you have.
Yeah, you kind of have a little bit of survival of the fittest at the end. And I think the case that we hear being made, whether it's by players or fans or both, But the fact that if you shortened down the season and had a better playoff experience, I think people would be completely on board with that, as well as the fact that I think that them trying to compete too hard with the NFL in the thick of the NFL season, as opposed to really pushing the season later and starting more around Christmas, could do them a lot of good. But they are very stubborn in their ways. And at the end of the day, it costs them in the beginning, and it really plays a factor at the end come playoff time.
Yeah, I'm just worried that at some point they're gonna cut it down to like 60 games and then kind of ruin. I don't want to say ruin the record book, but like
Right.
I don't know.
I,
We're already at this point where there's so many guys not playing and load
yes.
management and stuff like that. That
Yeah.
like let's say we get down to 60 games.
Sure.
Are these guys going to play every single game? Because I still think they're going to get hurt. I still think they're going to take games off. I
Right.
still like. So then
Yep.
what? Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're going to play 41 games. Then you're sitting there going, okay, are we the WNBA now? And we just, what do we do next? And
Yep.
to play 40, 50, 60 games with 30 teams is kind of insane.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I think the NBA needs to figure out how, just like the NFL, they need to make divisions and conferences matter more.
Yes.
And right now, it's too much of a, you're just going to go all over. You're going to have a 1-1 with every team in the NBA at least. And then the fact that divisions are completely meaningless in the NBA. And I think people want to see divisional rivalries in the NBA. And I think we're going to get that soon, considering the kind of how the shakeup of Adam Silver has been designing since he's taken over for David Stern. And the thing that really caught me off guard and really kind of brought me back to that, and I'll be honest, I just hate not seeing divisions matter in the NBA. I already don't like how divisions don't matter enough in the NFL, but they're completely obsolete in the NBA. The news that actually hit me today that was pretty bizarre was the NBA is actually, for expansion and viewership and ratings and just growth in general, the NBA is actually the number one thing on their priority list of expansion is actually not putting a team in Seattle and not putting a team in Las Vegas. The number one priority of the NBA in terms of expansion and growth is putting an entire division in Europe. I just heard this
Oh.
today. Yeah, from Rick Broussard on Fox Sports. He's awesome. I mean, I saw him on ESPN for years before he made the jump to Fox Sports. But I mean, he's spot on. The NBA is looking for growth, and considering how Serbia is basically diehard Nuggets fans, Slovenia is diehard Dallas/LA Lakers because of Luka Doncic. They see how they can dominate their sport compared to the other pro sports. I mean, let's be honest, the other two American sports, baseball and football, they can dominate by tapping into players internationally greater than any other sport that's in the American market.
True. So fun game that I didn't think we were gonna play today.
Uh-oh. What you got?
Wait. Let's give you a nice little oh, that's not the one I'm looking for.
That's not the one.
Let him cook.
This one.
There it is.
5 up for no debate. All right. Are you ready for this? Okay.
I'm ready.
Made up game on the spot.
Totally.
Can metrics name the teams in each division of the NBA?
Oh man, this is bad. I mean, I would say this definitely goes back. Oh, okay. What you got?
I'm gonna even give you some like hints, but go ahead.
Fair.
You were gonna say this goes back
Yeah.
to where?
Yeah, this goes back to last season when I was trying to build a NBA parlay off of kind of like how I do in the NFL, but considering that the NBA it just doesn't matter, and I put more love and desire into the NFL than I do the NBA. I kind of gave up on it, but I did look at one division more so than the others, especially going into this season, because I thought Memphis would be better. So I paid attention to kind of like the Memphis division, and then I paid attention because I liked what Sacramento was doing, but I think their management has kind of ripped that team apart, so that's kind of a bummer. So I was kind of looking at the Sacramento division as well, out
Okay.
west. But those
All
were
right.
kind of the two divisions I looked at. Eastern Conference, I kind of got an idea based on geography.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
All right. Well, let's start with the Eastern Conference then. How
Okay.
about the Atlantic Division?
All right, Atlantic Division. Well, softball toss clearly puts the Atlanta Hawks in the Atlantic Division. So we're gonna go with the
No.
Atlanta. No?
No.
Oh man. No, no Atlanta Hawks in the
All right.
Atlantic
All right.
Division.
Wait. Let's restart. Okay. Okay. Pause. Time out.
Okay. Well, we'll take
Let's
it
start with
first.
the Atlanta Hawks division, the Southeast Division.
That's what the division is called?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So they became they don't even have a cool nickname. They're not even the SEC. They're the SED.
Yeah.
Jeez. Man, that sounds like you gotta go to your doctor to get that checked out. Man,
That's no debate.
that's no debate. All right. Well, we'll go Atlanta. We'll play a geography game here. We'll go Atlanta, we'll go Charlotte, we'll go Orlando, Miami.
One
So I
more.
got the
Oh, one more.
I
One
need
more.
one more. I need one more. So basically, conferences are split along the Mississippi River. Except you got the oddball Memphis Grizzlies that are out west for now. Who else is in that region regionally in the southeast? Carolina's only
Uh,
has Charlotte.
I'm
Uh,
gonna give you a hint. They are technically not in the Southeast.
they're not in the southeast. Weird.
No.
So it's not a geographical team at all.
I feel like they just got
Yikes.
added on. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
big hint. They got added on. Wink, wink. In the last 20 some years.
okay. Added on in the last 20 some years. Are we going with the Brooklyn Nets?
No. Nope.
They are not in the southeast. Yikes. Um,
Brooklyn's newer than this team.
Brooklyn is newer than this team. All right. Philadelphia 76ers? No?
No. Do you want a bigger hint?
Yeah, a little bit of help here.
The GOAT played for this team.
The Washington Wizards?
Yes.
Oh my
Washington.
gosh. Oh man. I mean, I know some people kind of consider Maryland kind of the South, but yikes. That is
Yikes.
not the Southeast.
Okay, the easy one. Here's the toss, the softball, right? The Central. What do you got in the Central?
Central has to be Indiana, Detroit, Milwaukee, Chicago. How many more teams I got in there? So I got four.
One
Is
more.
there
One more.
one more? Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes. All right. Okay. All right. So now back to the Atlantic Division.
Oh man. All right, so we gotta go out east to the Atlantic Division, which does not have the Atlanta Hawks, which is very confusing. All right, so we're gonna go with both the Brooklyn Nets, the New York Knicks, the Boston Celtics, the Philadelphia 76ers, and I got one more oddball team out east. Huh. So I got both New York teams. I got Boston. I got Philly.
So, all right, here's the big hint for the Atlantic Division. This team has won a championship before everyone else in the division besides Boston.
Interesting.
Most recent championship, I should say.
Most recent championship. Yikes. Man, I'm not thinking this.
Pascal Siakam won his championship.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a team up in Toronto. I thought the team has been on hiatus, to be honest, since they basically like disbanded the entire franchise. I thought they basically had said, you know what, we're going to take the next handful of seasons off from the NBA. So
I mean,
that's why Toronto.
They've made some interesting trades, and then like you don't even know who's on their team, and then you just go, oh, they have that one guy with the inappropriate last name that
Yeah.
Video games can't say his name. It's kind of funny.
Nice.
But anywho, let's go with all right. The Northwest of the Western Conference.
Oh gosh, Western Conference. All right, so that's going to be the Portland Trail Blazers, the Sacramento Kings, the
Wait, no, none of those. Not Golden
Northwest?
State or Sacramento.
They're what? Did they start putting teams up in like the Yukon territory? Like, did the Grizz move back to?
Wait, this division makes no sense. All right, let's go to the Southeast. Like, let's restart. Southeast. Who do you got?
Wait, so they named a division Southeast in the West?
Yes.
Southeast.
Oh, I'm
West?
sorry, Southwest.
Oh, thank goodness.
I'm cracking up so much because the Northwest is so bad.
Jeez. All right, Southwest. Gonna have to be the Phoenix Suns.
No.
Both Clippers and Lakers.
No.
None
of those.
None of those teams. And there's not even a team in Vegas. Jeez.
What's the most southern state in the Southwest?
Gonna be all the Texas teams.
There you go. Okay.
All right, so that gives me 3 teams out of Texas.
Yep.
And I get the Phoenix Suns.
No Phoenix Suns.
You just said Southwest.
I know what I said. But think of the other teams that are close to the Mississippi.
Okay, Memphis. Is Memphis really in the Southwest?
Yes.
Unbelievable. That is so messed up.
And the other Southern team.
OKC?
Warmer.
And I already have all the Texas teams. There's not a team in St. Louis.
It is literally in the Gulf of Mexico.
It is literally in the Gulf of Mexico. The Pelicans.
Yes. All right. Okay. We got that one.
That is messed up, man.
Pacific NBA teams.
Oh, no.
What do you got?
So did they put the Phoenix Suns in the Pacific?
They did.
That is so awful. That is so awful.
When you hear the Northwest, you're going to be so angry. It's going to be great.
Oh, my gosh. All right, Pacific, we're going to go Phoenix Suns. Then we're going to go both LA teams. Yep. So we got those 3. And then I need 2 more teams out west, right?
Yep.
Yikes. I need 2 more teams out west.
They're in the same state.
They are in the same state. Is it going to be both Sacramento and Golden State?
Yes. Okay.
Weird.
Okay. I mean, at least they're in the Pacific, right?
I guess.
Here we go. Northwest. By process of elimination. This is process
of... All right. Minnesota, that doesn't make sense.
No. Yeah. Minnesota.
All right. We have, by elimination, the Portland Trail Blazers.
Yes. Which makes sense.
I feel like I have run out of Western Conference NBA teams. I feel like this division is only like Portland and Minnesota. This is unbelievable.
The other team that should not be even close to Northwest.
This is unbelievable. Northwest. I feel like I've run out of states and I've run out of cities.
One is in the NBA Finals.
Oh, okay. What? They put OKC?
Yeah, well, I don't know why. Um,
Oh no. That's
um,
crazy. Okay.
then I'll give you the other two just because like our faces are like, what is happening?
I don't even know if there are any teams left.
The Denver Nuggets,
Ah, that's right. Yeah, that
at
this
least that's
yeah,
close,
right.
and then the Utah Jazz.
Weird, man. It's basically you're right. It's a hodgepodge of a division.
Like, I mean, I I don't know who you could move over there, but like,
Man, to be Minnesota and you have to keep well, I mean, that's where like divisions really should matter more. So you can focus on this, so you can relate to it, so it makes sense. And also don't name a division the Southeast Division. Like these divisions have to get better names. Or
or
the
like,
Northwest Division, which is a hodgepodge.
or the Pacific, which like they have the Phoenix Suns,
And they're not even in the Southwest? That
right?
makes no sense.
But I
Man, is
mean,
that weird.
you have Memphis and New Orleans, so like they kind of have to they have to be somewhere.
They do have to be somewhere. Maybe there's somewhere should be the Eastern Conference.
But then who do you take out of the Eastern Conference? Like, do you just move I don't know, Charlotte? Like just send them to Vegas?
Well, that's like the ACC. It's basically ACC, how the ACC has Cal and Stanford. Um, I think what in my mind was going to happen before I heard the news today from Rick Broussard is that you would basically, or Rick Bucher, my bad, mixing two people together,
Yeah, Chris
like
Broussard wouldn't
DBZ.
appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like DBZ where they put their fingers together and become one person. That's crazy.
Fusion. Yeah.
Exactly, fusion. What I think it is basically you add Seattle and Vegas to the west, and then you transfer Memphis to the east. Oh, and you got the DBZ
I did
glass
that.
right there.
I picked that up on purpose. I was like,
That's
they
dope.
said it.
That's no debate.
Totally.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I mean, divisions in the NBA are definitely a debate.
Yeah.
You could move a Seattle, but then like Charlotte, like
So I'd
someone
be
could
adding
take
two to
Charlotte.
the west, so I have to
Yeah.
take one from the west and put it out east, and that would be
Yeah.
Memphis.
I mean, just flip Charlotte away and just make them Seattle or something. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a bad option. Yeah, I mean, Charlotte's basically non-existent. It has basically never existed unless we're going like way back to like when Baron Davis played there. And
Yeah.
and Bugsy or what was it, Mosley or
Muggsy
something?
Bogues. Muggsy
Bugs,
Bogues.
Bugsy Mose. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's in Space Jam. Like that's it. Those are my only two Charlotte guys.
Shortest NBA player ever.
Nice. Nice. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. But the fact that the NBA is super focused about Europe makes me think that they're kicking around four teams going overseas. And then they have to make divisions matter. They have to.
Nice. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm kind of like not that I'm gonna set you up for failure here.
Oh.
How about WNBA divisions?
Oh, I didn't even know they existed.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought
they
were
don't. They don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just East and West.
Yeah, I think they only have 10 teams.
Is it 12? 13. I think it's 13.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
now I have to count here. Let me go find it.
That's a weird
3,
number.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, it's 13. But remember, they just added Golden State, and then they're going to add Toronto. So
Sure.
they'll have 14.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So, all right. That's fair. I mean, basically, if you bring in one, you bring in another right after that. So, all right. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to get into WNBA talk. There's only been like 7 games. So,
Yeah, there's been 7 games. Yeah. It is what it is.
the big surprise, though, out of all the teams, the team that everyone thought was going to be like the worst team ever because they traded everyone, Phoenix is really, really good right now.
Interesting. Yeah, and I'm shocked that still Dallas is garbage.
I'm not really. They had the number one pick for a reason. They're really bad.
Right. That's fair.
But Paige Beckers she's getting into her own here. Like
Yeah. Yeah,
doing
I'll
some
take her some
solid
time.
work. Caitlin Clark is hurt, so
Yep.
that's cool.
Yep.
Seitu Sabali is dominating in Phoenix.
Nice.
With Alyssa Thomas.
Sure.
Trying to think who else. New York Liberty are still really good. Chicago's still pretty bad. There's a lot of Angel Reese hate.
Yeesh.
And yeah, I thought LA was going to be a lot better. But Kelsey Plum's, she's a stud. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she absolutely just takes care of business. Great point guard and has that Russell Westbrook hustle.
Yeah. New York Liberty and Minnesota Lynx are undefeated. And that's it.
That's it, man. That's no debate.
No debate at all.
Yep.
What do you got NFL wise? Hit me.
What do I got NFL wise? So I mean, part of me today brought up a thought that I heard. Well, a thought of mine that I had going into the postseason last year, and also the fact that I kind of see how things could kind of play out going into this season. Plus, this player has been injury prone before. Big news today was Saquon Barkley will be on the cover of Madden, and we know that the Madden curse is real.
Has it been real though? I mean, let's see.
They put some quarterbacks on recently that have been just basically like top 3 quarterbacks basically in the NFL. So they kind of like dodged the curse by putting like literally top 3 guys for like 3 straight years, right? And when you put a quarterback on, to be honest, quarterbacks typically have very low percentages of getting hurt. They really do. So yeah, they definitely dodged it with Mahomes, Allen, and Brady.
I guess the curse is still sort of ish. Yeah. But like Brady's been on like 27 times. Good gosh almighty.
Right. I would void quarterbacks, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie, I think that the curse has kind of been broken in the last 10 years. So did you know that they just made an article about this on ESPN? Is that how you know about this?
No, I actually heard it on the radio, and I was listening to Fox Sports Radio. And to be honest, ESPN is kind of dead to me since Around the Horn got axed.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Like
I have no use for going to ESPN outside of their app just to look at stories.
I like their radio people. I can listen to their radio shows. Pretty solid.
I just think the direction of the network is really going down the toilet.
I can't disagree with that. Except they did get inside the NBA. So
yeah, which is TNT, and thank goodness, because man, we are about to see the NBA Finals coverage. The NBA Finals coverage could use some DBZ fusion just to like get rid of these people and turn them into different people, because the ESPN table of coverage on a primetime game is awful. It's unwatchable. Basically, just go grab a drink, look at your phone, turn it on mute. It's right up there with being as bad as like First Take, or as much as I like Fox. Fox has some show. Was it part of my take or something, where it's got 2 fired ESPN guys that are like washed up, Keyshawn Johnson, Paul Pierce. They stink.
If the Joy lady, Joy
Taylor,
if she wasn't on that show would be unwatchable.
Exactly. Completely honest. That's how it is. Fox inside the NBA on TNT. Those are the watchable networks. But ESPN nowadays is just really not good. They've really taken the fun out of it. They don't even do the This Is Sports Center commercials anymore. You could see when they were kind of pushing Kenny Mayne away. It's like the fun people at ESPN they made it the no fun league, kind of like the NFL has taken that criticism as well. They did it on a network level, and now it's become this thing that is basically just pure hot takes, pure ratings, but it's bad. It's really bad. It's
Yeah, I mean,
political. It's bad.
like First Take, okay, I can watch that maybe like once every couple of weeks. There might be something on there that I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it's basically like the Stephen A. Smith show.
Yeah.
And
The white
like
guy
he's
from
the best.
New York is pretty funny. Mad
Oh
Dog
yeah,
Russo.
Mad Dog. Oh, I love listening to
That
Mad
guy's
Dog
great.
Radio.
Nice.
He has his own radio station on Sirius XM.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely. And he's the only one that goes at Stephen A in a way that he's like, dude, I don't care how much money or power you have. I hate everything on this show. And he says it
Absolutely.
out loud. And it's
So
like,
good. So
oh,
good.
like I love the segment. And that's probably why I watch it once every like week. His segment of what are you mad at is fantastic.
Phenomenal. Yes, that is phenomenal. I definitely give you that for sure.
Like he just went off, what was it, last week? He went off on Stephen A for no showing his radio show after
Okay.
the Knicks like made it or something. And he's like,
Right.
I called you and then you didn't answer me for 6 hours and you said you were on a plane and big timing. And I'm like, he's just going rampant. It's like, okay, I can listen to this guy go off. He's good on the
Absolutely.
radio.
Yeah. Yeah.
He used to do MLB Network and he was good on there
Okay.
too.
Nice. Yeah, I mean that's solid. I'm not the biggest into baseball, but every now and then I'll see something. They got some cool shows every now and then. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, basically I think kind of nowadays for sports, I think Fox is pretty solid. We'll see what NBC rolls out for the NBA coverage. I know they're going to get Carmelo Anthony, and regardless of what he was as a player, I'll be honest, I've seen him on TV a few times. He's pretty good TV, man.
Did you hear who they got though? Because he demanded to be on the show.
I only know of Carmelo Anthony, actually.
The GOAT.
Oh, they got Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan literally went to NBC and was like, hey, I want to come on there and just give back to the NBA. Like,
That's dope.
dead serious.
That is dope. Okay. Yeah, that's something. So I know he's going to be there. I know Chuck is going to ESPN with the other Inside the NBA guys, so that's cool. So, yeah.
I wonder if I can find what his quote.
No, that's cool, man.
Yeah, he's going to be a special guest. He will appear alongside Jamal Crawford, Reggie Miller, and Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, that's a great cast. Jamal Crawford's really good on TV too.
I'm hit or miss with them. Like, Mello has his podcast, something New York, something or other. I can't remember. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean Reggie Miller's been solid. Like, I love seeing the guy cover games. I've seen him quite frequently on the Dan Patrick Show. Reggie Miller's dope, man. Like, super cool guy. His Wendy's commercials were hilarious. I think he was even in a Miller Lite commercial recently. Reggie Miller's got a great personality, man. He's cool.
Dude, okay. Every once in a while I get inside of a rabbit hole on YouTube of like sports stuff.
Yeah.
Today was a Reggie Miller rabbit hole of him talking about his fights with Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan.
Nice. That's cool.
And he's like, I'm probably the only person that's gotten to a fight with two of the greatest shooting guards of all time. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
It was solid. Very solid.
Absolutely. So yeah, stuff like that, pretty cool. Yeah, I think this we went down this rabbit hole when I meant to talk about Saquon Barkley and how actually I meant to be honestly picking the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles both to win the East. That's kind of basically what I wrapped around to is don't put all your eggs in the Saquon Barkley basket. I just got kind of a weird feeling about how things with him are going to go this year. That's my
Yeah,
gut feeling.
I mean, 2,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. I don't see that happening again. I know it's
Yeah,
going to sound crazy. I'm thinking he's maybe going to be at like 1,500 and maybe like 10.
yeah, and also he put his soul into the season because he wanted to stick it to the Giants. I mean, that's it. I mean, like he literally wanted to do everything he did last year just to stick it to Joe Sheen. And if you see the HBO Hard Knocks off season series with the Giants, it's actually fantastic. But what they do to Saquon Barkley is just gut wrenching, and you could tell in that moment he was going to do everything to prove them wrong this season, and he did. But
Right.
you put your soul out there at some point. I think this year you're gonna get that lackadaisiness of you basically won it all last season, and how are you going to follow that up? And you don't have he's naturally not going to play with all that adrenaline that had to be surging into him every game for much more longer periods of time because of that hatred last season than he will play with this season. And my biggest concern with the Eagles is what do they look like without Saquon? They have a great offensive line, and to be honest, Jordan Mailata and those other guys, like they carry the weight. But what do they look like if they don't have a Saquon Barkley? Who else is in that backfield? That's what I want to see.
That's true. I mean, especially like you're going to get like vultured from Hurts on
First,
touchdowns
right?
automatically.
Yep.
Uh, some of these guys are going to start getting egos and wanting the ball more. And
DeAndre Swift was killing it before they kind of like took him out of rotation, to be honest.
yeah,
And this was 2 years ago.
yep.
So, yeah, like, eh, I don't know. When you bring in a guy like Saquon Barkley, it changes. But DeAndre Swift, he was already starting to figure out things with that offensive line. And then their play calling with him was just trash.
Yeah.
So
But then
it was
again,
kind of weird.
he's like falling off a cliff. Like he has just been getting bounced around, and it's like, oh, is this guy actually good or no?
I actually read something today, and I saw that game that he actually played against a team that you follow, the Green Bay Packers, and
Oh,
there's a run in that game where he just absolutely torches you guys.
yeah,
This was last season,
yeah. But then it's like they're
so
trying to replace him, and things are just weird.
yeah,
Absolutely weird.
I think this year could be a sneaky good DeAndre Swift season because when it came to the draft, that was the one position of need that the Chicago Bears whiffed on. So the fact that he's still there and you got Ben Johnson calling the plays, I think DeAndre Swift is a sneaky running back for this upcoming season.
You know, I like Roshan Johnson, so like
Yeah, he's
I'm
dope.
just
I do
waiting for
too,
him to
man.
take the spot. Just
Yep.
take a spot.
Yeah, and ultimately, like with that backfield, it comes down to who scores. And I think you're on the part that, to me, Roshan Johnson is probably more of the David Montgomery and role, and DeAndre Swift is going to play more of the blanking on his name, the guy from Alabama. He's basically more of that role. So it's a lesser version. I think Roshan Johnson would be more of the guy.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, who else? Hmm. Now I'm looking at their depth chart and I'm just like, why did they draft a wide receiver? Does anybody know?
No, I like. Well, I mean, the mystery in all this too, and I don't even know where he is. Where's Keenan Allen?
Oh, I think he's a free agent.
Which is bizarre. Why is Keenan Allen still a free agent?
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up because now my like brain is literally like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Keenan Allen is really, really good. And I know there's a little bit of, to be honest, basically last season wasn't really going to work because Caleb Williams was figuring things out. DJ Moore is probably better than Keenan Allen right now. And ultimately, Caleb Williams has more chemistry with Roma Dunze than he does with anyone else. So
So
he's going to transfer that, and that's why Roma Dunze was probably the number 2 last season. until it was Keenan Allen, but then Keenan Allen really picked up steam in the second half of last season.
So he's linked to the Cardinals, Steelers, Jets right now.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be the Steelers or the Jets.
But I guess 4 hours ago, USA Today has him connected to the Cardinals again.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If you're a wide receiver and play for the Cardinals, you're going into witness protection.
Well, probably. I mean,
Because Kyler
sometimes
Murray can't find you.
you got to take a job, though, because, I mean, where else can he play
totally,
right
man.
now?
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you can just snag a job and snag X millions of dollars playing for the Cardinals, totally worth it.
I mean, they're not. Okay, Marvin Harrison, we obviously know is really good, but he doesn't get the ball.
Because Kyler Murray is about as tall as this table that I'm standing next to.
Michael Wilson.
I don't even know who that is.
The Human Dortch.
I do love the Human Dortch.
Zay Jones.
Zay Jones is pretty darn quick, but it doesn't matter because Kyler Murray won't find these guys.
And then obviously Trey McBride,
who was supposed to be the second or third greatest tight end in all of fantasy last season. And
yeah, that didn't work out.
If I recall, I don't think he scored a single touchdown.
And then my personal favorite here, Josiah DeGuara, who is a Packer, is like the fourth string tight end. I don't know.
Fantastic.
But I do love this quarterback room, though, of Kyler Murray, Jacoby Brissett, and Clayton Tune.
Yikes. Yeah, that's the sound effect. That is the sound effect for that quarterback room, because we're going to say in 2 years, none of those quarterbacks are on that team.
Well, yeah, Jacoby Brissett is on like every team. Honestly, I wonder how many teams this guy's been on.
Do you think Jacoby Brissett will be the guy that breaks Ryan Fitzpatrick's record of most starts on the most NFL teams ever?
Well, now you got me interested. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up Ryan Fitzpatrick here.
Yeah, because he is the NFL all-time career starts among different NFL teams. I think he owns the record at like 12 or something.
Do you know his nickname is the Amish Rifle?
Ah, interesting. I remember it was Amish something.
Okay.
I thought it was Hammer, but yeah. I mean, I've also heard. Yeah, you're right. I've heard Fitzmagic as well.
Oh, Fitzmagic is on there. Yep. Rams, Bengals, Buffalo, Titans, Houston, Jets, Tampa, Miami, Washington. He's got 9 teams.
And are the Rams that you said, are those St. Louis Rams?
Yes.
That's no debate.
He started at 2005. He was 23 years old.
Gotcha.
St. Louis Rams.
Yep. Because basically the LA Rams basically began with Jared Goff.
He was drafted in the St. Louis Rams in the 7th round in 2005.
Oh, that's crazy. So he started on the Rams. Holy smokes.
Yeah. 2005, he was 23. He started 3 games. He had a record of 0-3.
Bummer.
4 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in 3 games. Holy cow.
Yeah, I think that was Kirk Cousins' stat line this past season.
That might be true. So what did I say? 9 teams there?
Yeah.
Jacoby's got New England, Indy,
yep,
Miami, Cleveland, Washington, and then back to New England. So that's 5 teams, possibly Arizona, if he starts a game this season, which I'm going to put my money on. So 6.
Interesting. Yeah, I had a friend who was a Colts fan when Jacoby went to the Colts, and he's like, man, this guy is trash. Like, he is just awful. And I
Hey,
think it was the season after I heard that he was gone.
2019 he was pretty solid.
I don't know.
18
Yeah.
touchdowns and 6 interceptions in 15 games.
Yeah, that's a solid stat line.
Yeah, for a dude that's not like, how is he still in the league now that I'm looking at his stats?
Oh yeah. I mean, I know he was in Indy for 2 years, right?
4.
Oh, geez. Okay. So at least at some point in Indy, it fell off the rails.
He was drafted with New England. He started the next season. He played 16 games for Indy, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Oh, okay.
Then he played in 4 games. Then he played in 15 games, 18 and 6.
Sure.
And then he played in the COVID year, played in 11 games, but only attempted 8 passes. And then 2021, he got put with Miami, where he played in 11 games. Cleveland, probably his best season.
Yeah.
16 games, maybe his second best. 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in 16 games.
Okay.
And then Washington and New England, again, he barely played.
Interesting. Yeah. So, I don't know. I just feel like
He's getting close.
yeah, he's definitely getting close. It's stuff like this that kind of points out to me that I think going into next year's draft, I think Arizona and New Orleans will clearly be at the top of the draft.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Unless New Orleans, gets themselves a quarterback named Aaron Rodgers.
Which it was exactly what I theorized. Well, actually, I didn't theorize. Actually, my mom theorized that. That was a great theory. So I heard that, and I thought right away it makes a ton of sense. But I heard within the last week that he said no to both New Orleans and Indianapolis, and I think both those are way better situations than Pittsburgh.
Agreed. You could win both of those divisions. Yeah, Tampa Bay is probably the favorite, but
they're solid.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. They're just solid. They're not great. They're not bad. They're just solid. I mean, Carolina nearly won that division last year.
They're a team I like this year.
And so then you look at the South in the AFC. It's like, I think
people
you could beat all
Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, you could literally beat any of those teams.
Yeah. So I just don't see the allure of going to Pittsburgh. And plus, you're playing a division that, unless it's the Cincinnati Bengals, is stacked with defense. I mean, you're going to have to run into both Cleveland and Baltimore 4 times over the course of your season. So that's pretty tough. And then who else you find in the AFC?
I'm looking at the AFC South. Houston was 10-7, and everyone else was under 500.
Yep. And CJ Stroud did not have a great season last year. So, yeah, I mean, it tells me more of really how good I really think CJ Stroud is. But I think it just shows that this division, to be honest, since the inception of all 8 divisions, this division clearly is lacking, considering basically 3 out of these 4 teams are basically expansion teams.
Well, yeah. They were the only division last year. Now, hear this out, because this is nuts. That did not have a team with a positive point differential.
Wow, that is wild, and that's wild that the Texans still win that division outright.
Yeah, the Texans had a 0 point differential, 372 for, 372 against.
Beautiful. That's pretty cool, man. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think It is interesting too. I mean, for fantasy, you definitely want to look at this Houston division, or I mean, sorry, this Houston wide receiving core. You got some real solid targets there. Christian Kirk is there. Um, you have Nico Collins there. He's banged up, but they still got Tank Dell. This is a very interesting team. Joe Mixon has just been a powerhouse behind that offensive line of the Texans. You got a really solid team down there in terms of offense. Now, since D'Amico Ryans has been there, that defense has kind of struggled, and so has that offensive line in terms of pass protection.
Yeah. Oh man, no way. They have Graham Mertz, Wisconsin Badger legend.
Yeah, he didn't finish his career too well.
Yeah, not with the Badgers, but he did with Florida.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's down there. It is what it is. But I would say pretty much your safe money is probably to just straight up pick the Texans to win that division.
Yeah, that's too easy though.
Yeah. The one play that I like in this, which is interesting, I think the best tight end in the NFL, or sorry, in going into the NFL draft was the tight end that came out of Penn State that got picked by the Indianapolis Colts. And the thing is, Daniel Jones might not be the greatest like deep targeting quarterback out there. I think he's going to rely on guys that he can kind of check down to, whether it's Jonathan Taylor or the tight end. So I think that's some sneaky value that you can get there.
It's Tyler Warren out of Penn
Tyler
State, right?
Warren. Absolutely. Yeah,
Dude's a powerhouse. I mean, he's got to be like 260 and like 6'6".
absolutely.
That's a beastie tight end.
Yep. My concern is that this would take away then too from I'm blanking on the name, but the wide receiver that I really like that's out of the University of Cincinnati. That wide receiver, he's basically like Will Fuller, where he'll get you like 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. That guy, I think, takes a step back.
That would be Alec Pierce.
Yeah, Alec Pierce, awesome fantasy wide receiver. But if you have Daniel Jones kind of struggling on the deep targets, I had him for a few, like, to be honest, I did play with Darius Slayton a few times when Daniel Jones was there in New York, but it never seemed like Darius Slayton was making too many like crazy big catches downfield. So I would be a little concerned going with Alec Pierce for this season.
Every time I go through a depth chart, there's always one player on every team that I'm like, where did that guy come from? The one on
Exactly.
the Colts, Khalil Herbert. I didn't know he was a Colt.
Yeah, I thought he was part of that trade. Or he went to Cincinnati. So he was dealt from Chicago to Cincinnati. He's kind of a shifty kind of running back, but doesn't have
No.
great breakaway speed.
I know who he is. I'm just wondering how he got on the Colts.
I would think he got released. That's what I think happened.
It's just one of those like, oh, I didn't know that guy was over there.
Right. So yeah, I think that's kind of the case of it didn't work out too well for Cincinnati. They're getting back Chase Brown, who's going to be fully healthy this season. So I think that's kind of where that kind of wrapped up, and that's kind of how things played out for Herbert.
Yeah, shame on that guy.
I know, man. I know. So yeah, just is what it is. But yeah, I mean that's kind of how some players kind of jump around a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I just when I look through depth charts and rosters, and I always just find one player that I'm just like, what the? How did you get there?
Exactly. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Um, we got mandatory mini camps coming up, and I'll be honest, I do actually agree with what Aaron Rodgers says that they're completely useless because now they're about to have a big chunk of break before they really have to be back in August. So the thing that he said that was better, and it makes a ton of sense, we remember this actually happening, was when COVID hit, they canceled mandatory minicamp, and then they stuck it into mandatory training camp. So you extend it, you give your team more time, more reps, more growth together, more evolution before the season starts. That's what you really need. These mandatory mini camps. I mean, we're talking about football in June. It just doesn't make sense.
I'm with you. Makes no sense at all. And
Yeah.
it's Aaron Rodgers. He usually makes a lot of sense, but you got to read between whatever line
Yeah.
he's on. Like I just heard him go off on Ryan Clark, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, I know that's a dicey situation. Don't even want to touch that, talk about it. I've read about it. It sucks. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to what Aaron Rodgers is saying about actually preseason work, essentially, I think he's spot on with this, and he's definitely not alone on this.
No,
So I think this is something the NFLPA could actually really rally behind and make a change. But as we know, the NFLPA is not very strong in what they truly should be caring about. So
right. I
yeah,
mean, I've seen him do this for most of his career. Like he just shows up when he wants, becomes MVP, and then you're like, oh, I guess that wasn't really that important.
yeah. My concern, and it's interesting because he's not the only one, and I do see other players who are saying like, man, this. Well, James Cook is another one. I don't think James Cook is going to show up to Buffalo training camp. Granted, it's for contract reasons. Micah Parsons is doing that now as well.
Yep. Trey
But yeah, I mean,
Hendrickson,
yeah, exactly. Oh man, Trey Hendrickson's situation is just awful. Um,
bananas.
yeah. So it is what it is. But these guys are, if you really look at it, between their contracts and what they're going through with these teams, it just doesn't make sense. So it makes all the sense in the world that they should be basically doing away with this and then starting actual training camp probably a few weeks earlier.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
So you do that, maybe you start not doing preseason or you start doing more scrimmages, stuff like that. I think that's what's really beneficial to these teams. So that will probably come up, but will it? We'll see. I mean, the NFLPA has been pretty weak, so we'll see what it is moving forward.
Nice. I mean,
So
we're getting
yeah,
close to that hour point. Was there
we
any
are.
other metric stuff that you wanted to get into?
I think we're good for now, but we are definitely starting to work our way into summer. So we start bringing more fantasy strategies, more metrics coming onto the scene. I got a few things I'm kicking around my head that I definitely want to start diving deep into the numbers. One of which, and someone brought this up exactly, deep dive, man. One person brought this up, and I thought it's really important, and it makes a ton of sense, especially with your guys like, let's say, Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers, Amon-Ra St. Brown. A stat that makes a ton of sense, and it translates, is look at guys who execute first downs. Guys who rack up a ton of first downs are going to be incredibly influential with how you're going to get results in fantasy. So not only do those first downs matter for actually advancing the ball down the field, those first downs could also be implemental or instrumental on actually scoring touchdowns as well. Because if they're getting that really solid production, you can guarantee that that offensive coordinator or the quarterback or both can really rely and depend on those players making something once they've received the football, essentially.
That's solid info.
So got that. I kind of am kicking around kind of what I've done with a bona fide metric, but possibly almost like a plus minus thing where you want to see is like, is a player kind of putting you over the top? Do they allow you to tread water at what they should be scoring for a game? Or do they have games where they actually set you backwards in terms of results and winning points? Because we all know that a guy like Josh Allen has great fantasy days where he can get you three touchdowns passing, three touchdowns running. He did that last season. those numbers can be insane. They can be bananas. Jared Goff is another one too, who can get you like 4 touchdowns, 400 yards throwing. Then the next week, 128 passing. That week where you get 128 passing, that's bad. So
Yep.
to me, that's a week. Or like Josh Allen is just like awful. Like these things happen. Those are weeks that put you backwards. So I would like to see who like what is the mix up of that? Do you have weeks where you're more in the red? Do you have weeks where you're more kind of on par average and maybe you're not crushing it, but I can get by with just average statistics? And then how many games do you have where you're just straight up over the top? So because of Josh Allen has 3 touchdowns rushing, 3 touchdowns passing, I want to like critique that as a great performance, but I don't want to just say that that's like the end all be all, and then that is basically an outlier compared to all his other games, which it honestly is, and other players' stats. To me, like a game like that should be considered excellent, and then you have whatever Lamar Jackson does. Whatever
Right.
he does on a great day, then that should be considered great. So any Lamar Jackson day that gets you like 30 fantasy points, that should be up there and have the same weight and balance in terms of how you just basically quantify things with a stupid Josh Allen performance. That's
Right.
what I essentially want to quantify. And then do that for every game for every player.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, so that's something that I'd like to play around with the numbers in the coming weeks. But hopefully, I can get my computer up and running too, because that's why I'm on a phone, and that's debate.
That's total debate. But you know what's no debate? Nope. Dang it. I was so close. I
He was
almost
almost
had it.
Almost had it.
I was going to say, but you know it's no debate?
What's no debate?
That I'm DJ Triggs, and I even messed up the point. You know what? You do it. I'm just going to.
Hey, I'm Steve Metrics, and that's your boy,
DJ Triggs.
and that's no debate.
Boom.
Boom.